Most people think estate planning is just about having a will or a trust, but there's a deeper level, one that's about values, purpose, and legacy. In this episode, Jim Martin and myself, Casey Bibb, are going to break down the difference between estate planning and legacy planning. You'll learn the essential documents every retiree needs and how to start thinking bigger about what you leave behind and how to do it with intention. So let's get ready to make retirement great.
Hey, and welcome into the show. I am Jim Martin, joined by Casey three-pointer Bibb. And today, Casey, we are talking about all things death and destruction.
It's pretty on brand for you.
No, we're not. We're actually talking about estate planning versus legacy planning and making sure you get your affairs in order. Now, estate planning, it's the legal side. It's the documents that the courts and your family will leverage if you're incapacitated or gone, right?
Right. And then the other side of things is the legacy planning, which is more the human side. It's the kind of impact you want to leave on your family, your community, and the people you care about starting right now.
Yeah, I always tell people estate planning are the documents
Mm-hmm.
and legacy planning are the decisions.
Right.
Right. Like, so they're really important. And many people stop at estate planning. They just get their documents done, if they even do that.
Yeah.
Like,
I see a lot of people that don't.
They don't. In fact, I have sat down with district attorneys and magistrates and judges and Casey, it doesn't matter who you are. So many people have this. And here's where I think it is. Smart people, they tend to overthink things in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And when they don't know which direction to go, they actually take no direction at all.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, they
We
just
talked
don't want to
about
make a mistake.
Mhm.
They don't want to make a mistake, so they put their head in the sand and move on.
Yep.
And today we are going to talk about how to not make a mistake here.
Okay.
And this is not legal advice.
No.
We are not attorneys.
No.
We don't play them on TV.
No.
I don't want to be an attorney. Nothing like that. But today we're just going to give you some information about the two. Now, we do have an estate planning coordination service that we help our clients with to help them make sure they have a will or a trust or whatever is appropriate for them. But again, we're not talking about that. And a lot of people, again, they stop at estate planning. They never build a strategy for what they want to give or how they want to impact other people. And I think you really need structure for both, for structure for the documents and soul for the human and the legacy planning around that.
Yeah.
And that's a little touchy-feely.
I love it.
Casey, it makes me think about this conversation. We set in an appointment like 2 weeks ago and had this conversation with this lady, new client, sad story. Husband's in a nursing home, and some of the decisions they made along the way put them in a position where they're in a pickle. They did the estate planning. Okay. So they did all the estate planning. They sat down, they got their documents done, but they never could get their arms around the legacy planning.
Yeah.
Right. So now they're in a position where they pulled out of the market way too early.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have long-term care insurance. They have not done any gifting strategies. And now they're in a position where they're in the spin down.
Yeah.
They're spending their assets down. And the wife is broken up. Husband is in a bad position. And now the wife is trying to figure out, what do I do?
Very sad.
What do I do? And, there's no easy answers there.
No.
It's like everything. What do they say? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're at today. That's what we're going to talk about. And estate planning, it protects your family, but legacy planning helps guide them.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some must-have documents for estate planning, because I think that's the first place to get started. And there's so many people that don't have it. And we see a lot of people come in with outdated wills or none at all, no plan at all. And that's a major risk, right? So I think that's a big risk. So let's talk about what a will is. And then we'll get into trust, durable power of attorneys, et cetera. So what's a will, Casey?
Yeah, so a will directs who gets what, who cares for the minors, who is named as your executor, but it will go through probate.
It does. And probate's like this dirty word.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, people are like, don't go through probate.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not the end of the world. It's like, it's not the end of the world. It is cumbersome because you have to deal with the court system.
Yeah.
But a revocable living trust, it avoids probate, which it offers a lot of privacy, flexibility, control, especially important in blended families or complex situations. So I have a revocable living trust. I have a blended family. My wife that I'm married to, we've been married for a long time, but I don't even know how long. Don't listen to this, Teresa.
She's going to hear about.
She will. But we have I have a son from a previous marriage, so we have a revocable living trust because it makes sense for us. But there's a lot of people where they don't need that.
Yeah.
They just need a will. And I think that's okay. Then you think about durable power of attorney. That authorizes someone to handle your finances if you become incapacitated.
Very important.
Yeah, I think everybody needs either a trust or will. And then everybody should have a power of attorney. What else do they need?
They need a healthcare power of attorney and advanced directives. So what that means is, say a medical decision needs to be made and you're not able to make it, it's going to outline your wishes for that person and make sure that they are respecting what you wanted.
And I always tell people this is an exercise in love. When you go through the process of actually getting these documents done, you're not doing it for you.
No, you're certainly not.
You're doing it for the people that you love.
Yeah.
And especially true of the advanced medical directive. That's the living will. I don't know about you. I do not want to sit around the table making the decision if I need to pull the plug on my dad.
No.
That's awful. But it's a lot easier if it's in a piece of paper and it says that dad wishes this.
Yeah, it's very, very important.
Now I'm doing what dad wanted, not like what some doctor that has nothing against doctors. We love doctors, but they don't know what my dad wanted. They weren't there for those conversations. And I don't want to put that burden on my kids to make the decision.
Right. And then they might think about it the rest of their lives of, did they make the right decision or not?
It's not might. They will.
Yeah.
They'll think, my mom went through this with her father. He was at the hospital. I don't know the whole story. It really breaks her up when she tells the story, but she told the story about it, that they had to make the decision and they made the right decision. 100% made the right decision.
Sure.
But doesn't mean you're not alive and live with that decision. So I think that's really important. And then there's the HIPAA authorization that lets loved ones access your medical records, which are really important.
Yeah, and then beneficiary designations, they've got to be reviewed often. They're going to override your will on accounts like IRAs, life insurance, annuities. A lot of people don't realize that. So it's important to make sure that that's specifically dialed in.
Yeah, that's one of the things. A lot of times people will say, well, I have it outlined in my will.
Right.
Like the law of the land is your IRA beneficiary designations, your life insurance designations. That's the law of the land.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do when we make sure we have an estate plan is not be like, we're going to call her Janice, not be like Janice's situation where, yes, you've had the documents and they did have the documents. Good for them. That's like 50% of it. But now we're going to start talking about the legacy planning. But let me walk you through some common mistakes first that people do fall into. Not updating their beneficiaries when they get married, there's a divorce, or there's a death. We call these life events, these big, chunky life events that we're either very joyous about or very sad about.
Yeah.
It's probably time to evaluate your beneficiary elections. Thinking that a will avoids probate. It doesn't.
It does not.
And it could be a real challenge if your kids live out of state. If your kids have busy lives and they live out of state, does a will make a lot of sense for you? Maybe, maybe not. I don't have the answer for that. And not having POAs in place if the family gets stuck.
Yes, it's very important.
I mean, I have a POA for my 18-year-old son who's in college.
Mm-hmm.
He's an adult.
Yeah.
What are you going to do if he's in the hospital?
They won't talk to you.
Not until I go and petition the court for information. So we have a POA on him, on myself and my mom. So we recommend reviewing these documents every 3 to 5 years or after a big life change.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to also hit on, especially in our area, we'll have a lot of people that will write their wills per se on a piece of paper. That does not make it a legal document. You need to take it a step further, get it reviewed by a lawyer, get it notarized, whatever your situations are in the state that you're in. You need to follow it through and make sure that it's a legal document.
Yeah, and it probably, again, not legal advice. It may work on the back of the envelope kind of thing, but it could be contested.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get you just wrote it down before you took an international trip and you felt good about it because for whatever reason, you kind of touched the sky and said, okay, I need to do this.
Yeah.
But it really does. If you've saved any money, it really does make sense to sit down and do it. All right, let's talk about legacy planning and why people can't avoid to skip it.
Yeah, I get the touchy-feely stuff. So legacy planning is about intentional giving, not just to charities, but to your kids, your grandkids, your community, whoever and whatever is important to you. And it's doing so in a way that aligns with your specific values. So that could include gifting strategies, whether that's during your lifetime or after your lifetime, setting up family trust with rules or conditions. So X, Y, and Z has to be met before X, Y, and Z gets this amount of money or this asset. Teaching heirs how to manage wealth. That's if you're not here to teach them, you can at least guide them when you aren't here.
Well, you know what? By the way, if you've got kids out there, and most people do, Dave Ramsey, you might like Dave Ramsey, you might not like him, but we're Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pros. And they actually have the, what do they call it? The Financial Peace University.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's really well done. So I know he's not everybody's cup of tea. I think that's fine, but it's a really cool class to gift your kids at Christmas time or at Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. I think it could be really useful. So just food for thought as you're trying to teach your children about how to manage money in the appropriate fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. Recording family history or values and ethical wills, which are very neat. Deciding when and how to give first. So you can give lump sums, you can give installments. There's multiple ways to do it.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So think about gifting in a lot of ways. So a lot of clients, look, I don't think you should think about gifting strategies when you're 50 generally, or 55 or even 60, because you don't know really how much you're going to need in retirement.
Yeah, you could have more, like several more decades on your own hands.
Right. And we need to make sure that just like if you're flying, you put your mask on before you help the person next to you. I think that's really important. But there comes a point when you look down at your statements and at your life and you realize you're likely not going to spend all of this money.
Right.
So you have a decision to make. You really have a decision to make. Number one, should you start spending more money and enjoying it more? I'm a big fan of that.
Certainly an option.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. The other thing is, do you want to bless your kids and your grandkids before? And the answer for a lot of people is yes.
Yeah.
And that's where the power of planning comes in, because what we like to do when we're going to build a plan is sometimes we'll build a legacy plan in, because people will come in and say, I want to leave some of this to the kids. Now, there's two camps, or maybe three. The first camp is I want to write the last check to the funeral home and I want it to bounce. Fine. I think it's fine. Nobody ever does that, but they say it, and that's okay. Then there's the second camp, which is really, I think the first and the second are the same. Whatever's left goes to the kids.
Yeah.
And I think it's lovely. But there's likely to be something left in many cases.
Yeah.
And then there's people who want to leave a specific dollar amount. But what if you look down and you look at your plan and you realize you can give $5,000 a year to your kids or your grandkids or a charity or a church? Would you get more value and purpose out of doing that while you're alive and you could actually see the impact?
Yeah, you get to witness it.
Right. And for me, that sounds really cool. Not for everyone, but for me, that sounds really cool. So just keep that when we're talking about gifting, you want to do this within the context of your overall plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And then tax planning to reduce burdens for heirs or charities. So I don't know about you, but when I pass, I want to leave my kids as clean as a situation as I can and put them in a better position if I possibly can. And a biggie is taxes.
And who wants to pay more taxes?
Nobody.
I have yet to meet anybody that says, I want to give all my money to Uncle Sam. Like, it just doesn't happen.
It's a true patriot.
Yeah. No doubt. Fly that American flag high if you do that. But for most people, they want it to go to the charity, to the church, to their family, whoever is important there. This is an interesting thing. I'm going to do a selfless plug for a website that we have. But there's a lot of people out there who they don't know if they even have a tax problem.
Yeah.
They really don't. So we do have a website that is probably pretty useful. You can put a couple pieces of information, not your social security or anything like that, just your age and how much you've saved. And it's going to spit out a report and it's going to let you know if you actually have a tax problem.
Yeah.
It's a tax GPA. Again, like grade point average tax GPA. If you want to know if you have a tax problem, it's a really cool resource. So I'd encourage you to go out and check it out. But again, the goal here is when we're going to do legacy planning is for you to have the situation where you can leave a really powerful legacy with your money.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do any planning on this, it's just going to all happen.
Yeah.
Which is fine too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who say, I don't know, Jim. And it's really hard if you don't have kids.
Yeah.
It gets way harder if you have no children to figure out what's next. It's still worth it to get all the other documents we listed out and then you do some good thinking on who you would like to bless along the way.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to point out too, you don't have to be a millionaire or have a large nest egg to leave a legacy. Anybody and everybody can leave one. It's just a matter of the size of it.
Yeah, that's 100%. And then let's talk about some things that can derail it.
Yeah.
Because I think we've talked about what legacy is and why you can't afford to skip it. What are some other things people need to do? Look, you've got to think about how do you protect it?
Yes.
What are our big risk? Okay, we'll start with the biggest one, long-term care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't quote me on this 100%, but I have heard that 50% of people will spend some time in their life in a long-term care facility, whether that's a nursing home or skilled care, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're expensive.
Very.
Like somewhere between 8 to 10,000, maybe even higher. We have a
Easily.
couple clients in them right now, and they're incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
So you want to address long-term care planning way before you get there.
Yes.
But if your whole goal is to leave money to the nursing home, do nothing. Do nothing. But if your goal is to protect yourself, you're going to have to make some decisions here.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to address that. One of our features and things we're focused on with our clients this year is addressing long-term care.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the outcome of what happens when somebody doesn't plan. They act like it's not a big deal, right? Oh, I'll just take the risk. And then all of a sudden they start writing $10,000 checks every month. I don't care how much money you have.
That's going to hurt.
It's a big old chunk of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it really adds up. The other things they do, they don't get the legal documents. Clearly, that's what we're talking about. They haven't adjusted inside of their plan. They haven't looked at their property and casualty insurance.
Yeah.
They don't have an umbrella policy. These are things that could really derail your plan. So the other thing that can happen, look, kids are great, but kids can also be idiots sometimes.
Yes.
I've got 2 of them that are sometimes idiots. Now, I hope when they are old enough, they're going to be less idiots and just more normal human beings. They're just kids, right?
Yeah.
They're not, they're great. But I do think in the sense that we want to make sure as they get in and they're going to inherit this money, that they're going to be good stewards of the dollars.
Absolutely.
And that's why I mentioned that financial piece, because if you save $3 or $4 million and you have not helped educate your kids on what they're going to need to do with the money or how it works, you've got some real problems on your hands.
They're going to have a heck of a shopping spree.
They are. I mean, I saw a stat one time. It might not be the case anymore, but Fidelity says the average inherited IRA lasts for 18 months before it's brought down to zero.
I believe it.
That means you work for 30 or 40 years and your kids spend it all. This is also another reason why you likely should spend a little bit more during your lifetime.
Yeah.
Like that truck you've been looking at, but I can't buy it. Don't worry, your kid will have it.
Yeah. They're going to get it.
They're going to get that trip to Hawaii you've always wanted to take. They're going.
Mm-hmm.
So, think about some opportunities there to take action with your own plan. I think that's really important. Let's talk about the timing here.
Yeah.
Because I think this is important. Most people, they wait too long.
Without a doubt.
I had a will, but we just updated our trust.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 50. I feel like I should have done it before. I feel like I'm behind. But it is what it is. I'm not dead, so thankfully. So it worked out. It worked out okay. But I would encourage you that if you're listening to this, it's probably time. So pre-retirees, we're going to talk about 50s to 60s.
Yeah.
Finalize your core documents. Consider a trust setup. Do a beneficiary audit, right?
Yeah, beneficiary audit is good for everybody.
No doubt. What do we do when we're when early retirement? So let's say 60 to 70.
We want to start thinking about beginning those structured gifting, Roth conversions potentially, and then the value-based discussions with family.
Yeah. And then later in retirement, when you hit 70 plus, that transitions from control to guidance, trust funding, charitable giving, final updates. Again, you don't have to do any of this stuff. We're not telling you to give your money away. That might not even be within your plan at all.
Yeah.
But if you have any intent to do that, it's kind of a neat thing to do.
Yeah.
And again, I think this is even a bigger play. Right now, a lot of people are going to be worried about the taxes relative to their estate.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, because of estate tax minimums right now, most people aren't going to hit that. And I don't even know the number. It's like $13 million.
It's pretty large.
It's like 50. The number goes up because we just passed the Big Beautiful Bill Act and it changed the number. So my head's awash with the numbers, but it's huge. So it doesn't affect most people. But let's be clear. There is $37 trillion worth of debt out there, right? $37 trillion worth of debt. And the government's got to pay for it some way at some point. And you know who the easiest people to tax are?
The wealthy.
The dead people.
The dead people.
Dead people don't vote unless they live in Philadelphia. I know it's a terrible joke, but there's a couple people that think it's funny. So I'm going to keep telling it. But yeah, I mean, really, it's easier to tax dead people. And this is a fascinating thing. They've done these study groups. When they call it estate tax, most people are in favor of an estate tax, or many people are.
Mm.
Ooh, that's only rich people have an estate.
Right.
When they call it the death tax, everybody hates it because nobody wants to be taxed for dying. I mean, you're going to tax me to die? Golly, Moses, that's not good. But yeah, so it's how they frame it, but that's likely to
Yeah.
come. All right, let's talk about, should we update this stuff regularly? What do you think?
Absolutely. So, after any major life event, marriage, divorce, birth of a child, grandchild, if you received an inheritance, you want to make sure you update some stuff. Major portfolio or income changes, and then when tax law changes, you want to reevaluate as well.
Yeah. No, yeah, just just don't do it once and stick it under a rug and
Yeah,
never
you
look
can't
at
do
it
that.
again.
Yeah, and it's something that we certainly help our clients with in this process. It's actually built right into our smart wealth system. We call it milestone 4 legacy. So as our role as advisors, it's to coordinate with your attorney to make sure your financial plan and your legal plan match. We all want to make sure that your wishes are continued and followed exactly the way you would like.
Yeah, and for our clients that don't have attorneys, we have an in-house solution to help them as well, which is really great because now we're in a situation where when we talk about legacy, we can use the attorney you love and then make sure it's coordinated with that, or we can connect you with our in-house counsel who can help out there.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have an attorney in-house, but we have solutions on the outside that can help.
Yeah, and then we obviously cannot offer you legal advice. However, we can help think you through and give you some guidance, especially when the tax strategy is built in. And this one is important for me because we see it a lot. We want to facilitate family meetings if they're desired. So if you have a power of attorney or you have somebody that you know is going to be helping you with these decisions, we want to get them involved. We want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. We're more than happy to meet with them. We want to help make sure that your documents and your beneficiaries align with your goals and nothing major has changed. And we provide a value based framework for legacy planning. Document and revisit your plan every few years. You've got to make sure that you are not just setting it and then forgetting about it.
Again, if your advisor's not doing this, if they're not spending the time to talk to you about your estate and your legacy, you're just going to leave your kids with this just mountain of work.
Yeah.
It's some money. And some people are like, oh, they'll figure it out.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
will.
they will.
They will. But, I think the goal here isn't just to die with the most money.
It's not.
It's about to live with purpose and leave your dollars with intention. I believe at the end of the day that you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't need an advisor to do this. I mean, the people who are out there that are do-it-yourselfers have at it.
Yeah.
But if you do have an advisor and you are paying them a fee, they ought to be doing this work for you.
They should.
It's really important stuff here. So, I think estate planning, legacy planning, this is one of the things where a lot of people stick their head in the sand. And it's easy to, because nobody wants to think about the end. Dave Ramsey says this all the time. He says, nobody's getting out of this alive. And it's the truth.
Right.
Right? I have a plan to live forever. It's worked so far, but it will
Good plan.
eventually fail. And we have to be ready. All right, let's go through. Every week, I write down some questions that I think our listeners may have. And if you've heard this before, this is my favorite part because I'm hoping one day to stump Casey, but she's a smart one and it's hard to, but we're going to try again today. So here we go. Casey,
Yeah.
we hear this all the time. In fact, we had a Zoom the other day and they said, hey, I already have a will. Do I still need a trust? What do you think?
The answer is maybe. A trust can help avoid probate. I know that dreaded word, maintain privacy, and it's going to give you more control, especially useful for blended families or minor beneficiaries that may be involved.
Yeah. And again, I don't think people should be like inherently scared of probate. I think, I don't know, maybe trust attorneys one day or estate planning attorneys acted like this is the way to get them to sell more trust.
Maybe.
I'm not really sure. I think where the probate court becomes an issue is where your kids live out of town.
Yeah.
And then you might have to drive 12 hours to go to the probate court. Now that sounds horrible.
It does.
It sounds
It
horrible.
really does.
And there could be an attorney fees. Again, we're not giving legal advice at all. We're just giving you the information as we interpret it. But yeah, that's absolutely right. You don't look, if you have a will, you might not need to. You might not need a trust.
Yeah.
The other thing around a trust that we didn't mention, and this is a really important thing, is a lot of people actually go get their trust done, but then they do nothing else. And if it's not in the trust, guess what? It ain't in the trust.
Right.
So if you're going to have a trust, make sure you retitle your assets in accordance and conversation with your attorney. So you make sure that you're actually following through on what you want. I mean, I'll give you a story. My parents had a trust done. The trust attorney said, "Oh yeah, you're in great shape." And then when our attorney reviewed it, they said, "What the heck is this document? No, this is not what you wanted. Nothing's in the trust. Nothing's been redeeded. Like all these
Wow.
problems." So just because you've done that doesn't mean it's perfect. So it's always good to have a review. All right, question number 2. And this is a big one for a lot of people. I've People love their kids or like their kids
They should.
sometimes. Most of the time.
Every other time.
But they love their grandkids.
Yes.
People are
They
obsessed about their, and it's easy. I know why.
Well, they get to send them home. They get to spoil them and send them back.
Well, it's that, but I realized the other day, it's actually because of you. It maybe from Bailey as well. Bailey's on our team.
Mm.
You guys have younger children,
We do.
and those younger children, you can hold them, you can love them, you can squeeze them, and then they get older, and you will never have that again.
Are you trying to make me cry?
No, but it's done. And that's what happens when you're 60. You realize, like, you might not get to hold a baby again. I mean, think about that if you're a mom. It's why women come up to you. I bet you did. I bet you're in a grocery store and some woman came up and wanted to like squeeze Brooks's feet
Mhm.
or pinch his cheeks or hold him. And it's not that they're weird.
Yeah.
They miss it so much.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not a woman, so I don't know this, but I think the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to have like somebody that just loves me like from the end of the day like that. I mean, like a little kid will.
Mhm.
So that's why they love their grandkids. This is my 2 cents. I have no idea. All right. But with that said, what's the best way to gift money to my grandkids?
Great question. It's going to depend on your goals. You could use 529 plans. Those are great. Custodial accounts or structured gifts through a trust. Just don't give without a plan. Think it through and sit down and make that decision.
Yeah. For my parents, they came to me recently and said, "Hey, we want to do something." And they were in the go-go stage, and now they've transitioned in their mid-70s
Yeah.
to the slow-go stage. So they still do stuff. Like they go to concerts all the time. They have season tickets to a college basketball team. Like they're pretty active folks, but they're not traveling the way they did. They want to be closer to their doctors.
Yeah.
They don't love it as much. And they said, "We want to give some money to grandkids." And we went through and I asked them a bunch of questions. And for them, a 529 made a lot of sense. They got a nice little tax break. They were able to gift the kids some money for college, which was important to them. So it's different for every family that's out there. So
Yeah.
I think that's really important for you to think about your situation. And if you want to gift your grandkids money or your kids money, you should do it. Do it within the context of your plan, though.
Right.
Remember, you can't take this money with you. There are some people out there who will say in this, "Well, I don't want to spoil my kids. I don't want to put them in a position where they can't work and earn it." I actually get that completely.
Mhm.
So make sure you do that when the child is ready. I'm not going to give my 18-year-old son $5,000 as a gift. I mean, he's going to go buy rims.
Yes.
He's going to go put rims on his Mustang. That's what he would do with it. And I would be so irritated
Yeah.
because I would have got him for Christmas if he really wanted him, because I would take a Christmas present. But I'm just saying that's not what I'm going to do. But if your kid's 42 years old or 35 and they're trying to put down payment on a house, maybe it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I think do this at the right time.
Yes.
Again, depending upon the age of your kids, the maturity of them. Obviously, if you've got a kid with substance abuse problems or some other issues, our heart goes out to you. That's probably not somebody you'd want to gift money to. Maybe
Yeah.
look at a special needs trust or something like that. Either way, the most important thing is for you to take action on this.
Without a doubt.
And not take action, meet with a qualified attorney, make sure you work with some people that do estate plan coordination like we do, and then ultimately be in a better position tomorrow. Casey, as we wrap this thing up, any final thoughts?
Yeah. So my final thoughts would be these documents are very important. And I know that it might lead to some uncomfortable conversations. You might feel a little less than meeting with an attorney. Let's say if you do have a complicated family situation, I would think that they've seen it all and they probably can help guide you regardless of your situation. So just really put an emphasis on making sure that your wishes are made and you have those documents in line.
I think that is so well said. The attorney doesn't care.
No.
We don't care.
No.
We've seen it all. We've seen people want to leave money to their cats, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it is uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But I tell you that when I've been the most uncomfortable is when I have the clearest thoughts. Growth happens through that stage.
Yes.
Look, thank you for the insight, Casey, and everybody listening. We appreciate listening. If you want to catch us, we are on YouTube. You can search for Martin Wealth Solutions on YouTube. But more than anything, we want to thank you for watching and listening to the show. If you want to learn more about what we do and how we can help you, go out to martinwealth.com. We'll be back next week. We appreciate you listening. Remember, plan well and retire happy.
We appreciate you joining us today for this episode of the podcast. Opinions voiced in this podcast are provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. There is no assurance that any investment strategy will achieve its objectives. Information provided is not intended as tax or legal advice. You are encouraged to seek tax or legal advice from an independent professional. We are not affiliated with Social Security or any governmental agency. New River Financial Group, LLC is a registered investment advisor offering advisory services in the state of Virginia and other jurisdictions where exempted. New River Financial Group, LLC, doing business as Martin Wealth Solutions. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss in periods of declining value.